The biting scarcity of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as petrol, which had hit the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, since over 1 month, became more acute at the weekend and spread nationwide with fuel queues on a scale not seen in recent times, and the product selling for more than 1,000 Naira per litre in some places. The scarcity led to disruption of commercial and social activities at the weekend in Abuja and the country's commercial capital of Lagos, as well as Kaduna, Kano, Port Harcourt, Niger, Nasarawa, and several other states. Many filling stations shut down their operations due to the severe undersupply of PMS. Although Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, had said the shortages were caused by distribution challenges, it did not specify the cause of the current spike, which had lingered in Abuja and environs for over 4 weeks. In several parts of Abuja, a 10-litre container of petrol sold for as high as 12,000 Naira on the black market, while private filling station owners sold for between 700 Naira and 1,050 Naira per litre, depending on location. However, the few NNPC mega stations in Abuja still sold for 617 Naira, but with queues stretching several kilometers. In Lagos, the current petrol scarcity assumed an alarming dimension, with most of the major filling stations shut, while a few that opened for business were flooded by long human and vehicular queues that stretched along major roads.
Hello viewers, how are you all doing? Now that we're beginning to think that the production of PMS from Dangote refinery will give Nigeria sort of relief from fuel queue. Now, NNPC is coming to announce to us that they will be the one to determine the market price for Dangote refinery. It is not enough that the agreement that the federal government have with organized labor has been breached, because the agreement actually stated that upon accepting 70,000 as a minimum wage, that federal government not to increase pump price, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented 2 options for organized labor and trade union congress, that if federal government should pay 250,000 Naira as a minimum wage as workers or NLC propose, that they will increase the pump price. Now, these people looked at it carefully and find out that if pump price should be increased, the hardship on Nigerians will be much. They rather accepted the 70,000 Naira minimum wage so that the pump price will not be increased, because the cost effect on Nigerians will be more should federal government increase pump price to from 600 and something that it were to whatever amount they want to raise it, which they didn't disclose to NLC.
Well, NLC President Joe Ajero joins me in the studio to look at this issue. Good to see you, and thanks for your time. Well, it's been a long, tortuous journey, and you had Nigerians there talking. And first, let's talk about how we arrived at 70,000 Naira. It's a better place for us to start this conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Normally, in Nigeria, is a tripartite committee that negotiates, and after negotiation, they came to 62,000. Organized private sector, government, governors, and labor. There it was labor that said no, this can't fly, and they submitted their report to the president. Awaiting transmission to the National Assembly. So at that point, we said no, this is not going to work. It's not what we agreed for. And then another round of talks. So Thursday last week, the president met with us and gave so many analyses. Even while we were negotiating at 60, the governor said they won't pay, that it's going to be difficult for them to pay. And then we continue moving, because that has been the plan of some of them. So the president gave us 2 options. But I can pay you 250, and if you allow me to increase the pump price of petroleum products. And he said, you are Ajero. On my first day, I said subsidy is gone. And since that time, you have refused to allow me to increase more. So where will I get the money to pay you minimum wage? If you allow me, I pay you that. If not, take 62. I'm giving you 1 hour to talk. Let me stay in my office so that we can conclude this meeting. And we say no. we are not meeting here. We adjourned for 1 week. And we went back and looked at the larger implication of we collecting 250 and another increase in pump price of petroleum products. So we went back to say, Mr. President, these are two issues. We are here for minimum wage. We are not able to discuss the issue of pump price or attaching it as a condition for increasing. That would be too selfish of the labor movement. So it was there that we opened the discussion and got to 70,000, because that's the question you asked. But 70,000 clearly is an increase of 130% or 133% of the old rate. And then if you look at it, and I can ask companies, even some analysts that are talking, that where you are working, probably let our rise increase 100% so that we can take it from there. Because it's enough to criticize, because the burden, the wage burden, will definitely almost double. And then that was where the private sector had been complaining, that is going to affect, their activities. So we took it and then we moved further to break a jinx of negotiating every 5 years. Now what this means, we are pushing for two years. And Mr. President said, let's leave it for 3 years. What this means is that even before the next election, we are going to negotiate again and get another wage reviewed. So in both ways, we'll try to balance it so that the economy can move, everybody can,
It is now obvious to Nigerians that this government does not care about its citizens. A government who is telling Nigerians to be patient, that they are finding it difficult to run the economy, is busy.
The primary cause of what we are going through today is the recklessness of this government and this president by suddenly removing fuel subsidy on the day he was inaugurated, without looking at the balance sheet of the country, without consulting, and without knowing what the problems are. Flippantly, on May 29th, just removed fuel subsidy without having any fallback plans. You don't do that, and that's why we're going through all of this. Price of food is going up. Inflation, as at yesterday, was 29.9. The dollar, when they came to the Naira, was 680. Today is 1,500. Everything is going up. And they are surprised because they don't have a plan. And I said it from the outset that in August last year, that Tinubunomics is nothing but a very painful pill for everybody to die, and people are dying. This president started this policy before he even assembling his team. It clearly showed that the president was being advised by shadowy, armchair, theoretical economists that know little or nothing about the sufferings of our people. And we all know all this policy is just a prescription they got from the World Bank. In Washington, D.C., they got a prescription. And that prescription is killing our people.
Now, do you think that the proposed strike by NLC for federal government to reverse the pump price back will actually make federal government to reverse the pump price back? Federal government on their part is obviously not bothered about the sufferings and yelling of Nigerians. You can see this by their reckless spending, even though they are telling us that times are hard, Nigerians need to be patient. But on the other way around, they are not convincing us that truly Nigerians does not have enough money to run this economy for every Nigerians to be comfortable. Given to the fact that at this critical time, a whooping sum of 21 billion naira was spent to renovate a vice president official house. A project that was earlier proposed for 7 billion naira was later raised to up to a tune of 21 billion naira. Now, upon completion of this project, during the commissioning, the current minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, was seen bragging that it is more or less like an achievement that this present administration has been able to complete a project that previous administration couldn't complete, with a whooping sum of 21 billion naira at the time where
years ago commended President Bola Tinubu for making the funds available for its completion in 1 year.
Awarded at a cost of 7 billion in 2010 and was abandoned in 2015. It was in January this year that we had a revised budget to make it 21 billion, which is from 7 billion to additional 14 billion. A country that's for a vice president's residence that will take 14 good years. And then Mr. President has come. Within a year, he has made it to be a reality.
Our appeal to federal government is to, as a matter of urgency, look at the yearning and the suffering of the masses. That 21 billion naira, if you are putting it on the security or health sector, you would have gone a long way in reducing the amount of people that Boko Haram are killing. Just a few days ago, Boko Haram just killed about 20-something people in the one of the northern states in Nigeria. Are we to talk about the amount of people that dies on a daily basis on our general hospitals due to lack of equipment? Meanwhile, we'll have a government who don't care about the masses, but we'll have a government who are busy taking care of the politicians, making sure that the politicians are okay at the detriment of the masses. Nigerians, tell me what you think on the comment section. My name remains Noel Akam Jr.